I feel lonely. I know the time can move so slowly, and in the distance I hear voices. Are they real or are they in my head? I'm lovesick. You got me lovesick, and I'm lovesick. You got me lovesick, and now I feel alive, feel alive, feel alive, feel alive, and now I feel alive. So many times they try to change me, and every time it drives me crazy. And all the good times we had saved me. Are they real or are they in my head? I'm lovesick. You got me lovesick, and I'm lovesick. You got me lovesick, and now I feel alive, feel alive.
With the backdrop of the iconic Fuji mountains adjacent to this circuit, 15 of the fastest Mercedes W12s are taking to the virtual Fuji Speedway for round 12 of the Apex Hunter Motorsports Championship. It's a race well awaited as we make our trip to Japan. A dominant season for one driver is set to continue, the rest of the field looking for what could be, of course, the best race for many a driver. A first win, a first podium, a lot of goals, and one chance to get it at the Fuji International Speedway. Welcome to coverage live with Velocity Online Racing. We have ourselves our final minutes of qualifying coming up, a two-stage run with your top 10 drivers looking for the pole position in just a few moments' time. I'm David Kreutz alongside our league expert Mark Samad and broadcast director pushing the buttons behind the scenes Julien Altena. He'll be working on bringing you the visual magic from green flag to the checkered flag. Fuji International Speedway, heralded for its Grand Prix competition, its endurance competitions over several decades of racing. And once again, we descend upon the circuit with 15 minutes remaining in our qualifying session. A quick recap of how the season's gone so far. Jeffrey Lawler has wrapped up the championship, winning after 11 races, 8 times so far. He actually made it 9, missing only 2 victories so far in the campaign. His last non-victory coming in the United States at Watkins Glen. He's set to carry a lot of momentum. He leads qualifying as it stands. It's a battle between Alec Hinchcliffe, Willie Atkinson, Jesper Van Guthrijst, and Eugenio Baer Villarreal for the top 5 in points. They're separated within 100 of each other, but the championship is out of reach. Now you're looking at downstairs, trackside, with drivers taking times and looking to usurp Lawler in the qualifying placements. In 4 minutes time, we'll get going our final running. It appears now many drivers are set to go for a top 10 session to end qualifying. Mark, we're moments away from bringing the green flag to life. You've seen it a lot of times before now to ride on board Lawler. How is this final session going to look as drivers push for the pole position?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty interesting one. We got a pretty hot track here. Air temperature at about 80 degrees Fahrenheit, track temp at about 91. This track has been pretty notorious for being pretty slippery along those final sectors there. We do get a little bit of an incline, so those drivers are going to be sliding around as those tires start to degrade, so it should be a pretty interesting one.
Looking at the track conditions, 27 degrees Celsius with 20-mile-an-hour winds. Track temp a little bit warmer, though. That's going to be the kicker. We got ourselves a track temp of 33 degrees Celsius. Still not scorched earth just yet. And with mostly cloudy skies, it should stay in the favor of drivers tonight. Shouldn't have to worry too much about overly warm track conditions, even after they put down race laps. Qualifying so far has been a walk away for championship leader Lawler. He leads by 0.7 of a second as it stands, but when it comes to the lineup, we have 15 drivers. Are there any other standouts we should be looking at when we look down that tally?
Yeah, I wouldn't discount Leon Flukiger. He has some excellent pace too. He's brought the battle to Jeffrey Lawler quite a few times in the season, so I wouldn't discount him for sure. At the end of the day, I think it's all going to really come down to strategy as well. I think Lawler is going to go for the medium-soft strategy, Flukiger as well, but I'm curious to see what everyone else is running for sure. So before it used to actually be a fixed league or fixed setup league race, but now everyone's moved to more open setups, so that's going to be something to watch out for as well.
Flukiger, the only driver now in the sub 114 bracket, 0.7 of a second off of that lauded pole time. We're looking again with Jeffrey Lawler, who is making it through on the soft compound now. Things to note for the race that come ahead: multiple compounds will be required of every driver. Soft compound, of course, going to be the quickest for all drivers. And downstairs at the bottom of your screen, you'll see 2 possible pit strategies. One stop is to be expected. Drivers switching from the medium to soft compound if they try to run a slower or shorter stint. And they might be a little bit slower on the hard compound if they run 5 or so laps longer. Another one-stop possibility ahead of us. Expecting to see the long runs become the most favorable thing of the night. 1 pit stop is anticipated, but overall, we know so far Lawler has a lot of pace, and if he can keep up the laps he's been putting down, he is set to be a firm favorite once again. We're taking a ride on board. You can see that driver telemetry. He's going to back it down and bring it back to pit road. We got ourselves a perfect look at how he's going so quick here as we take this ride. Just less than 11 minutes remaining, Mark, before we get things going once again. 10 minutes left, and the final chance for drivers to put down their pole position laps. I mean, now the top 10 drivers are separated by about 2 seconds. The top 5 is separated by 1.3. Do you feel there's any driver who has a chance to put down that pole lap here from what we've seen? Not a lot of movement on the timing board the last 5 minutes, but drivers are on the soft compound. They have everything in their toolbox that they could use to bring that extra edge.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Flukiger looks like he's primed to gain quite a few tenths. I'm not sure if he's going to catch up to Lawler. It is quite a big gap to make up. Grothies is probably going to crack that 1:13 time as well, but I wouldn't discount Willie Atkinson as well. I mean, it is going to be a top 10 shootout over here, and he's currently in 11th, down 4/10, so I'm pretty sure he can find the time. A lot of drivers actually are going to be looking to cut some of these corners. There is one into the chicane in the third sector there, where they can just hop over on the inside, and it might gain them quite a few. But again, traction on that part of the circuit is pretty limited, so it's going to be interesting to see how it evolves.
Pit road largely filled. Lawler getting back out on the circuit here. Few drivers giving us a chance to see what it will be like with racing conditions. Traffic shouldn't be a big deal with 15 drivers, and you take a look now at hot laps being run. But it's going to be exciting to see drivers bunched up again together at the start of this one. Here's a ride on board once again above the cockpit of driver number 8, and we'll see exactly how he navigates through. Lawler now entering the next corner. You saw him pass through the Dunlop chicane. This is his last run through Panasonic, and off Camber corner, a right turn that brings him back to the main straight. His fastest time, a 1:13.253. He's not satisfied with that run, so he'll pull off. And here's a look again at Flukeiger, who's making it through Dunlop and heading toward nets as we speak, just a few tenths behind. And he seems poised, if anyone's going to do it. As you said, Mark, gain a few tenths. He's got his sights set on P1.
Absolutely. He's looking like he's going to get a good run out of this last sector as well, so curious to see what his time is.
At the line for driver 99, Flukeiger sees no difference. That 1:13, just a warm-up, and he'll spin it around and take it back to pit road for a fresh set of rubber. One more driver set to join the field tonight. Benjamin Massey in the 0:53 at the tail end of the field. 16th right now, still has just enough time to get registered before the race. And that's going to bring us to 8 rows on that starting lineup. Taking a drive with one driver here. You see that orange and black Mercedes heading into pit road. And as we take this look, going to be one of the many still looking for a top time. Lawler's still at the class of the field with 7 minutes left in this qualifying session. 7/10 of difference, but one battle that is very close. Leon Flukeiger and Marcus Keller. They're separate by only a tenth. What should we be looking out for when it comes to Marcus Keller, who runs P3 as we take this look on board with your pole sitter? Marcus Keller less than a tenth off on Flukeiger. And Mark, I gotta wonder, is this number 123 one of the drivers poised to challenge for the victory? For the time being, we don't know yet, but Keller might be close enough to take second before Flukeiger improves at all.
Yeah, it looks like Keller's got a really good run in the last few races of the league as well. Also, Benjamin Massey looks like he got second in Mexico overall, so I wouldn't discount him either when the race starts. It's unfortunate that he can't qualify, but I'm definitely looking forward to see what he puts out in the race.
For Massey, second start of his season. You mentioned it. He took second just behind Lawler. So while he'll have to carve through the back of the field, he's got some good experience that might be reliable, or rather, might be one of the biggest things that can help him in terms of getting up through the pack. Seems to be one of the quicker drivers in this field. The battle for second in the championship, we mentioned, it'll be Alec Hinchcliffe, Willie Atkinson, who are second and third, neither of which for the time being are in the top 10, and Atkinson is in 11th. Alec Hinchcliffe just got up to 9th there. They're fighting, but they're also going to be battling with Jasper Van Guthrist, who's 4th right now in the qualifying table, ahead of them both by considerable margins. Second place is still an open battle, and with 3 races remaining after this point, it means that a good race tonight can cut the distance by more than a quarter's worth, maybe even a third's worth, point to point between 4th to 2nd. So we could see some big shifts in the championship lineup while Lawler has a championship wrapped. Those drivers are poised to battle for points. Consistency has been key, and the points table has been about showing up and performing when it matters the most. Leon Flukiger's gap is 680 thousandths to the leading man in Lawler. Still no difference as a big jump for driver 230. Pablo Valenzuela Uribe gets it up there into the top 5. Uribe, the first driver to make a big move in the second half of this session. He runs 17th in points as it stands, and notably, his numbers have been solid. Back-to-back third-place finishes. Mark, the Uribe machine. What do we know about Pablo heading into this race?
Yeah, it definitely looks like he's had some consistency. He joined about halfway through the season, but it looks like he got in 3rd basically on his first start, 4th next race, and 4th again right at the race before Mexico City, which was Interlagos. So expecting some good things out of him. It seems like we're going to have a very interesting midfield fight. I mean, look at the gap between all of them. It's basically about 3 to 4 tenths, so that's going to be a super interesting one. And another thing to kind of point out is Jasper Grant Grothe is starting in 4th. If this remains this way, he's going to end up on a very good part of the track, and Jasper is very quick off of the line, so he's probably got the best starts in the league, so something definitely to look out for.
3 minutes remaining. Uribe up to P5. Jasper, 4th, still going to be there in that second row, which could be huge, and battling against Flukiger and Keller, and trying to get the launch off to gain some early positions. That's one thing to note. Fuji's defining characteristic when it comes to speed is out of turn 16 to turn 1, the longest straightaway in the venue. You come out of the Panasonic corner and you've got yourself the long sweeping straight that gets you to turn 1. Daichi heading toward the Coca-Cola corner. Elevation is critical for the rest of the track. A lot of sweeping turns. We have a chicane to keep account for. Left and right-handers all the way around. Getting the launch in that first turn and that straightaway is big. That builds the momentum for the first sector. And as we talk about the race start, which we are now less than 2.5 minutes away from, that track position means the world. Uribe will be knocked off of 5th position, and it will be Harry Kronze who takes it up there just by a 1/10 of a second. Still no difference between your top 2 drivers. Lawler again going for a pole time, but separation has been minimal. A minute and 34 seconds remain. 16 drivers becomes 17. So just a little bit more. And what we began this qualifying session with, Samuel Justin Ray, will be the final entry into tonight's race. Ray has just stepped onto the circuit. A minute and 9 seconds left. If any driver just got off a pit road, there's no way they can get that last lap in, save for the time extension at the end of the session here. Gotta make it cross the line before that time extension goes off, or your lap will expire. Justin Ray, the newest addition, has had a spare 4 starts. He's gone back and forth throughout the season, not yet collecting a top 5 finish, so perhaps his goal tonight is just that. No changes at the top. Interestingly, Marcus Keller is only 45,000's up on Jasper Van Guterist when we look at that third or fourth battle, it's marginal. Final seconds left of qualifying, Mark. Anything else to see? Are we set to see a surprise? Is there anyone to look out for?
Yeah, Harry Kreutz is a very good qualifier as well. I wouldn't be surprised if he made up at least 2/10 if he hasn't been on his last lap already, but very curious to see what Lawler puts in here. His last lap was really good, really on form, just a little shaky out of the last corner there, so he had to bail out. So we're on the last lap with him, and he is looking still pretty on form here as he sweeps through the quarter here.
Watching one last shot to gain any position. Riding aboard now with the 1-2-3 machine. This is Marcus Keller into the Dunlop chicane. Hops a little bit on the curb, but it won't do anything wrong to this 123 car. Through Nett's corner and the final right-hander, a tight one. Panasonic get the speed out of here, and the checkered flag awaits on this qualifying session. Keller heads high, gets it all the way down to the apex, and he'll ride out. This is the final shot for Keller. He's just thousandths away from taking second place at the line for driver 123. Qualifying will end on this note, and for Keller, no change reported. Looks like he'll have to settle for P3. And qualifying has concluded. The series is led by its dominant man in Jeffrey Lawler. Marcus Keller will not make it up to the front row, and Lawler poised for what could be his 10th win of the season. He'll start at the front of the field tonight from Fuji. Moments away from your starting lineup coming to life here from the virtual Fuji International Speedway. Once again, watching coverage live on Velocity Online Racing Network. Velocity Online Racing delivers professional iRacing broadcasts, providing an authentic race day experience. Our custom IndyCar style overlay creates a clean and immersive viewing experience reminiscent of professional motorsport broadcast. Streamed in 1440p 60 FPS production with expert commentary, Velocity Online Racing gives your series the presentation it deserves. Broadcast packages start as low as £50 an hour. Visit velocityonlineracing@gmail.com to learn more. Before we get started with today's race coverage, thank you to TrackCams22.com for today's track cameras and onboard cameras provided by our broadcast director, Julien Altena. If you're interested in complete camera packages for road, oval, and dirt, visit TrackCams22.com. Before we get going and talk about our starting grid, of course, we have to talk about the drivers and if there are any things to look out for. Race conditions today are going to say in the driver's favor. Ambient temperature is now 26 degrees Fahrenheit with a track temperature of 31 degrees. By all means, beneficial for drivers. You won't see any extreme examples of warmth. Wind is going to be 19 miles an hour, might knock these guys around, but overall, it shouldn't be particularly detrimental. It's a 50-lap feature race. Tire strategy is going to come down to one pit stop. That's the thing to look out for when these drivers decide to do it and how they decide to start the race. The expectation is most drivers will begin with the medium or hard compound. If you start with the soft compound, either you pit twice or you don't have it for the rest of the race. First strategy is going for a 30-lap medium run, going into pit road early. The next strategy is going in for a hard compound run to start, lasting 5 or 10 laps longer, going toward lap 40 and pitting late in the day. 2 compounds are mandatory for all drivers, which means a swap is needed. That's going to be something to look out for because at the beginning of this race, you'll see drivers with different compounds, the medium or the hard. Very unlikely anyone decides to start with the soft, and if they do, they're due to pay for it. 17 drivers now going through the final moments of our warm-up session. So we have a little bit of time before the green flag goes off here. With more action coming on these Sundays in Velocity Online Racing Network, there's not only content on Sundays, but also for the next coming weeks. Indy Euro Series, July 22nd at Portimao. That's the next coming broadcast. The Indy Euro Series will head to Mugello the week after that on the 29th. VOR Race Day is a doubleheader with the Indy Next and ICS IndyCar Series, both on August 1st. Broadcasts will be separate, 3 hours apart. It's going to be a big day, double-heading the next series and ICS, the IndyCar Series, VOR Race Day. That's August 1st, and the day after that, the racing keeps going. Daytona International Speedway, the host for the International IndyCar League, the 2nd of August, and the Indy Euro Series will return to action. They'll be coming back for August 5th at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's August 5th. 3 races coming up from the Indy Euro Series. The International IndyCar League heads to the World Center of Racing. And the 1st of August, to start the month, a double-header feature with open-wheel racing all throughout the Americas. And of course, on this Sunday night, you're watching action for the Apex Hunter Motorsport crew, round 12 of the season from the Fuji International Raceway. All eyes are on Lawler in terms of collecting victory. He's anticipated to lead the field for what could be his 10th victory of the campaign. He has at this point only lost 2 races this season. At Spa-Francorchamps, he had a mechanical failure. In real life, his steering wheel disconnected and he ended up bowing out. Watkins Glen, he was able to keep things moving and settle himself for a top 5 performance, but he lost. Strategy didn't go his way, and it has taken freak incidents many a time beforehand to settle himself back out as a non-winner. It's more likely for him to win than to do otherwise, and it shows with a 400-point advantage relative to Alec Hinchcliffe. He is the man above everyone else. There is no denying his championship. If he so chose, he could bow out of the season and win the title automatically. Alec Hinchcliffe is the next closest, and Hinchcliffe tonight in the 34 has a lot to look out for. He has just about a 52-point lead on Willie Atkinson. It could be cut in half. There's Hinchcliffe in the blue and black, number 34. Qualifying, warm-up, practice have all concluded. And Mark, now we are moments away from bringing the field to green, so let's go over the starting grid that comes here and now. To start it all off, row number 1, Jeffrey Lawler, the champion already, lines up on the pole position. The only driver alongside him, Leon Flukiger. These two are the class of the qualifying field, with second row seeing Marcus Keller and Jasper Van Guthriest. Third, fourth, fifth, Harry Kreutz, and then 6th, Pablo Uribe, with 7th place, Eugenio Villarreal, and 8th, Ethan Turner, driver of the 9th place starting position. 2nd in the championship is Alec Hinchcliffe with Connor Jensen, the last of the top 10. Mark, take it from here.
Willie Atkinson on the 6th row here with Philip Allen coming in right after him. We have Keaton Jensen and Lewis Connolly filling the 7th row here. Willie Gomez and Benjamin Massey, who did not qualify, but he has gotten P2 in Mexico, so we should see a very good race from him. And finally in row 9, we have Samuel Ray. And as we talked about before, it seems like Jasper is going to get a very good start.
Coming through to the opening corner, it's race day from Fuji. Lawler heading into Daiichi is far and ahead already with close to 10 car lengths worth. It's double file behind. Welcome to the 50-lap feature in Japan. Everyone gets off without a hitch, but it's clear Lawler is the leading drivers.
And Jasper Van Grothy's got the jump on Leon Flukiger as well, so didn't expect anything less from Jasper, jumping from 4th to 2nd, and he is the only one right now in contention, 1.4 seconds behind from Lawler.
Lawler has that clear-cut edge. Qualifying proved to be important for him, but of course, Jasper taking an early P2. Not a surprise off what you said, Mark. He seems to have himself well composed on these launches. You'll see the 67 of Villarreal is on the medium compound. Nobody choosing to start with the softs, and for good reason. We're looking at an opening stint that's going to last some 30 to 35 laps.
We do have Keller right behind Groothuis, and there is no DRS at this point, but Keller is only 7/10 off, so he will get a little bit of a slipstream down the straight here, but not enough to pass Jasper just of yet.
At the line, a 2.3 second edge for Jeffrey Lawler. That's by far the quickest lap so far, but the race has only just begun. 50 laps in total. 16 took to the start of this race, so one driver bowing out prematurely, but the rest of the field is now split by 30 seconds. Here's a ride on board with Villarreal. Contact, Jensen around, Keaton Jensen in a violent hit, and trouble early off lap 2.
Yeah,
and
Jensen's
Jensen's race,
be happy with that one.
I can't imagine he's going to have a chance to get back on the track.
Luckily with this lead, we do get 2 fast repairs, so they can use those, but it's important to limp back to the pits, as if you do tow back to the pits, it's going to cost you a lot more time.
And ripped up the circuit. Keaton Jensen already far behind the rest of the field with that one. And he got the worst of it by far. I mean, you see the back end ripped off.
Yeah, it looks like he tried to take the racing line while Villarreal was right there, and unfortunately it didn't go his way, but you know, that's what happens in Fuji, especially in these high-speed corners, if you're not clearing the cars fast enough. So bad luck for both of them, but hopefully it doesn't impact the race too much.
Villarreal also off the racing pavement for the time being, as we take a look at Keaton Jensen on pit road.
And we do see Keller losing a place to Harry Kreutz in front of him, but he is only 5/10 behind, and DRS should be enabled now, so Kreutz needs to gain up some time on Groothuis here, or he's going to need to defend into the first turn. So we'll see how that goes, but Keller is right on the back of Kreutz's tail, so this should be an interesting fight. Not sure whether there's anything Kreutz could do about it with such a long straight ahead of him.
Jeffrey Lawler, in the meanwhile, a 5-second advantage. Jasper got that great start. Best of the rest in second by a second. And it's side by side as Pablo Valenzuela Uribe goes for P4 over Marcus Keller. And he gets it dropped out perfect through the DRS zone. One of the few drivers in that camera shot we saw that took the DRS. Not everyone deciding to do so. And Valenzuela, one of the few drivers who takes big advantage of something that these guys don't have a limit on. This is not like the American open wheel cars where you have the push to pass. DRS is zone dependent, and it looks like Valenzuela, the only driver in that stretch to use it, he'll make a pass big, as already 3 drivers off the lead lap, Keaton and Connor Jensen and Eugenio Villarreal.
Now, dirty air is going to play a big part in the factor into one of those big right-handers there, big left-handers into 100R. There is going to be some dirty air coming across there, and as their tires start to degrade, they are going to feel that back sliding around, so they got to be careful of that as the race progresses as well. And Keller looks like he's under pressure from Ethan Turner as well as we come up to the DRS zone. But both of them should be getting DRS, or Marcus Keller might just be out of DRS range, just 1 second back now, as we do see Ethan Turner closing in on him and coming in at blinding speeds here.
Turner has it. Definitely quicker. Moves to the side. A textbook pass into the opening corner. Through Daichi, 1. It's an easy pass, and Turner makes through. But with contact and gets nudged out of the way.
And there is another DRS zone here, so Turner is going to get it. And let's see if he gets past into the turn. No, he does not.
I figured that Turner and Keller there would have had a perfect chance to go back and forth. But it appears Turner is going to hold on with little difficulty. Here's a look from the aerial view upstairs into 1. Turner shot it through, was clean, had the apex through the opening corner, and no, just got loose on his own, actually. The other view was a little misleading. Turner wiggled, but was still able to straighten himself out and maintain position.
Yeah, it looks like he got a little bit upset there, applying too much throttle on the curb, so it might have upset the back of the car, which gave Keller quite a bit of an advantage there, but the DRS zone just might be a little too short.
Five laps in, make it 6. Lawler has gained a second for every lap he has been ahead.
These tires should be able to hold up pretty well throughout the race, especially since the track temperature kind of dropped. It's at 30 degrees Celsius now, and when I was running some laps on this before, it was only really the front right that was getting a little bit more wear than the others, but it wasn't very huge, so I think everyone should be able to make that medium soft strategy work for them. The drivers on the hards did take a little bit of a safer approach, but I think it's going to be a little bit of a detriment to them, as I think they're losing at least a second a lap.
One driver on the soft compound. You'll see it on the left side of your screen. That is an unfortunate choice for one Willis Gomez, but that's at the back of the field, and he's currently the final driver on the lead lap. We take a look back to a prior instance with the 67 of Villarreal, taking a ride on board, and the DRS zone in full effect here. Back to your live feed. Valenzuela Uribe has lost 4/10 as it looks like a pass from Benjamin Massey, and trouble for Phillip Allen in 9th place now, dropping to 10th as he loses it out of the apex.
And it is, like I said, with those uphill sections in third sector here, it looks like he just loses it coming up here. And if you get on the brakes a little too aggressively or throttle a little too aggressively here, you are going to lose that rear. And unfortunately for him, Willie Atkinson did get the pass on him into the straight. And yeah, you just see that rear kick out on him right there. Just applied a little bit too much throttle out of that off-camber uphill there. So, yeah, you are going to have to pay attention to these curbs as we get through here, too. And Atkinson with a great pass into the last corner here. I'm pretty sure he still gets a DRS zone as well, but I'm not sure where the detection point really is in Fuji, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did get it.
Gap between second and third is cut to 0.6 of a second. Valenzuela Uribe has gotten up to Jasper van Goetrijst, and it looks like now the battle is just a few tenths. Oh, trouble again. Ethan Turner goes around. So let's get a look at this replay, Mark, and perhaps we can get a better look at what happened here.
Yeah, and it looks like we are going up the third sector again, and as you hit those curbs coming up these uphills here, you just apply a little bit too much throttle, and it is on the same corner every single time. This is a very tricky one, even in, GT3 cars, but yeah, he just hits that apex, hits the other, and applies too much throttle, and the car just didn't have enough grip.
Same incident, different driver. Final sector, that third sector is going to be a tricky one to watch out for. So we're looking back in the midfield again for a 3-car battle, and this appears to be the confines of the upper midfield. We'll tell you this much, it's getting exciting with the number 69 of Jasper van Goetrijst, and now Harry Kreutz has gotten himself up in the fight.
Yeah, and Jasper's in a really vulnerable situation here up in P2. He's the only one of them who doesn't have DRS. Kreutz and Uribe both get DRS down the straight, so Groothuis is really going to have to try hard to defend here. You only get one defensive move in Formula 1, so let's see if he moves down to the inside, but Uribe is closing in and fast. Not sure if it's going to be right before the actual braking zone here, but it looks like Uribe just has to stay behind Groothuis here, as he does go wide, actually, into the turn, which allows Uribe to close up on him.
Van Groothuis giving that door a little bit of an opening. I'm not sure if he was happy with that particularly. In the meanwhile, Lawler keeps running and Ethan Turner takes a spot, but putting the focus back on that second place battle. The gap is 0.2 of a second, and it looks like now Valenzuela Uribe got very close to Jasper van Groothuis, just hasn't had a shot to pass. DRS zone should give a great shot for Valenzuela, as we head toward the final sector again and heading toward the Dunlop chicane. 3 drivers, tight as ever. DRS should be activated for both Kreutz and Valenzuela Uribe. Pablo will be the last of them in 4th. Harry's in 3rd. Jasper still leads this pack, and it proves his launch off the start of this one was the most important thing and the best thing he could have got.
And Uribe is a lot closer this time around, only 4/10 back, 6/10 out of the last corner here, so Jasper needs to use everything at his disposal to try to break that slipstream. But Uribe is closing fast, as you do see Jasper getting slightly offline, trying to get rid of that slipstream. But as we get closer towards turn 1, we are at about 4/10 back, and still not close enough. Jasper really needs to cut that apex. He's going really wide, so those tires are probably screaming at this point. And here comes the second DRS zone, as we do look alongside Massey and Turner, with Massey with the pass.
Solid pass there for the Benjamin Massey crew. And here's a look back. And looking at the runner-up battle that we missed in the meanwhile, side by side and close. Now that was a perfect twitch out to escape. I mean, one wrong move, one overcorrection would have been a massive wreck for those drivers battling for the second position.
Yeah, and Jasper just does not give up. I mean, you know, Uribe did have that inside. He had the corner, but Jasper just goes around the outside. He knew he had it. Both of these drivers. Oh, that is super close there, but super lucky for Jasper and Uribe.
Second place fight a little bit more tame now after that. All drivers, I would say, pretty lucky to escape.
Oh.
But it's now back again to the inside, way inside. Pablo Valenzuela will take it through one and a spin. Out of line. We've got trouble for Jasper van Grotist.
Yeah, it looks like he just locked up trying to break too deep into there, and I think Jasper likes to run his brake bias a little bit higher, so tilting that more towards the front, you are going to lose it a bit. But look at this battle between Massey and I believe this is Turner. Both going side by side here.
Now that's as close as it gets to contact, but still trouble. Turner and Massey, a close fight. Second place is settled in, but look at this. Jeffrey Lawler looking for win number 10 on a fantastic season. He has been unstoppable and proves to be so far today. He really is the only driver he's focusing on, and he is more than a second faster each time.
Yeah, it looks like Kreutz has backed off a little bit from Uribe. Kreutz's tires might be a little bit more in pain than Uribe's at the moment, but Uribe was in a constant battle with Grothy, so I think Kreutz is going to just take it easy on his tires for a little bit, let the graining phase kind of end there, and then he's probably going to come back right before pit start time, and I suspect we'll see Kreutz catch up back to Uribe, but it looks like Lawler is, as you mentioned, a second ahead of everyone else. Last lap was a 1:17.0. Pablo Uribe looking at a 1:18.2.
Riding aboard again with the 123 machine. And this is Marcus Keller with a shot now on Jasper that didn't seem real just a few laps prior, but not only does Jasper definitely have some scuffed rubber, but Keller's been consistent, and now they're tied up within a second. That final sector, which we're coming up on quickly through the Dunlop chicane, heading toward the last long straightaway, is going to favor Keller significantly here.
Yeah, and Jasper's tires are definitely way over temp after that spin, so wouldn't be surprised if it took him maybe a lap or two just to kind of back off and make those tires back into the window that they're comfortable at. But it looks like Keller is only 7/10 down from Jasper here. We have seen Jasper defend against these kind of conditions, so I believe Jasper can do it in this lap, but only a couple laps will tell.
Here's a ride on board with Keller once again. Marcus Keller into one, couldn't quite get there. Down the long straight. Gap closer to 2 seconds that time by. He'll just have to make the most out of another lap. 13 laps in out of 50. Slowly approaching the halfway point for the more aggressive medium style stop. Oh, trouble. It's the 43 Phillip Allen.
Doesn't look like he has any damage, thankfully, but no, it looks like that front wing's still intact, but he has Willy's Gomez for company, and same place at the same time. It's just that uphill sector in Sector 3 there, catching a lot of drivers off guard.
Lucky not to get any damage. I would agree with you if he maybe just tapped it, but either way, should be more than recoverable.
Now, I should mention, too, that these drivers have a lot more tools at their disposal. As I mentioned in the beginning here, this league used to be a fixed setup league, so there wasn't any really, traction control changes or ABS changes, I should say, that drivers could do. But the drivers can adjust a lot more of those settings now with these open setups, and they can actually freely deploy more energy down these straights as well. So this is a first for a lot of them, especially when they're chasing after another driver in front of them, but it could mess up some of their braking points, have a little bit more power into these corners than they're used to. So it is going to take a little bit of an adjustment, but everyone seems to be doing a great job.
For 14 seconds. The lead for Lawler. Here's a look at Samuel Justin Ray, a driver who entered this race pretty late, Mark. But so far, he's had a solid run, getting himself up into the top 10 conversation, and maybe with strategy, he could go for his best finish of his young season. Part-time driver so far, gaining 7. He's the big mover to look out for. 9th place is Willie Atkinson, who gained 2 positions to this point. Started in 11th, has made it up to P9, and the American drives well as he's in the top 5 fight for points. After him is a 0-4, and that is Turner. Turner's had an up and down day. He's back where he started, but he was running much higher to begin it. He had a top 5 run going, spun around with some contact, and now he's getting himself going again. He's still in the single digits, doing a solid job, but he runs behind the Benjamin Massey machine. Benjamin qualified 16th and is also now up a total of 9 places, has gone from 16th to 9th. One of the drivers who came from far out of contention to the front. A great run so far for Massey, who also joined late, and he's coming up on the 34 of Hinchcliffe, and that would be Alec Hinchcliffe. There's the black and blue Mercedes, 6th after starting 9th, gaining 3, quiet and collected, and then you got that real leading fight. The 123 of Marcus Keller is where it all begins. Keller is coming up on P4. Marcus today started 3rd. He's running podium contention. He's still pretty close, but he's got to get by another driver first, and that would be Jasper Van Groothuist. Jasper right now runs P4, the first driver outside of the podium. 4th to 4th so far. And not much has changed, staying steady, the 69, who launched up to 2nd on the opening start. Then you have the 16 of Harry Kreutz. Harry, 3rd after starting 5th. He's gained 2 places and has gotten away from some of the chaos at the back and the upper midfield. 2nd place is a hard-charging Pablo Valenzuela Uribe, who started 6th and has proven to race pace is better than qualifying. However, he is 15 seconds behind the leader of all drivers, Jeffrey Lawler. Lawler is eyeing win number 10, and here's a look on board with him once more as he is far out of reach.
Yeah, and this is Lawler's bread and butter. He knows how to keep those tires active. He's still 1 second past everyone else in terms of, 1 lap pace here. Valenzuela is getting pretty close to his current lap time. So Lawler's lapping with a 1:17.0, and Valenzuela's last lap was a 1:17.5. So Valenzuela is finding some pace here, but we are just, quite a few laps before the halfway point of the race, and we don't expect that drivers are going to actually pit until about the 30-35 lap window. So there is still quite a bit to go here. A lot of tire management at play. Lawler's driving his own race, making his way through the field. Everyone's moving out. So I don't think he has any issues to kind of worry about on his end. But, with Valenzuela and Kreutz just 3.5 seconds behind him, Groothuist 3 seconds behind Kreutz, and Marcus Keller dropping back from Groothuist just a little bit, now at about the 1.2 second range here. So there is a little bit of tire saving going on at this, early stages of this race.
17 out of 50. By all accounts, we're at least halfway through the next set or halfway through our journey to the next set. It's getting exciting already. The journey has just begun. We're looking for what could be a 35-lap run for drivers on mediums if they save it fully. Could be seeing some guys go close to 40.
And I think drivers are going to look to Willies Gomez too. He has started on those softs and they've lasted him about 17 laps. So if they do last till around the 25 to 30 range, some drivers may think about pitting early just to get those places out. But it is going to be quite a bit of a gamble as those softs will drop off in pace very quickly. Even though they can make it to, the 20 lap, 25 lap mark, they're not going to be as effective as in that first, 5 to 6 lap window. And that's when drivers really need to make the move on the driver in front of them. Out of that window, you are just going to be kind of sitting duck and you're not going to be able to move very far up the grid.
Gaps from driver to driver are the biggest they've been all throughout this run. More than 1 second between every driver from top to bottom. So things are pretty spaced out, but we're looking at an early pit stop right now for one man, and that is Willies Gomez. Gomez was on the softs. He's going to have to go for a two-stopper, I would think, or maybe just an early one-stop and then run the rest of the race out on a hards mark. What do you think the call is here?
Yeah, I think his only choice is to really run those hards. I mean, Villarreal also had a little incident in the opening stages of this race, and this is interesting. He actually went on medium, so he might actually be going for a two-stop strategy. I think the hards would be a better option, but let's see how this pans out for him. I think he'll definitely have to pit again, so he might be going soft, medium, soft. Interesting strategy, though.
Not quite sure how that two-stop strategy is going to work out. So we got a little bit of time before everyone else comes in. So we'll take it all the way back to where it all began. Here's a look at the start of this race, and you'll see how everything developed from the launch off the green flag.
Yeah, Lawler just got a beautiful start there, and you do see Jasper creeping out from that fourth position and taking second right into the first corner there. He has that inside line, so he had it right off the bat. But Lawler just charging down just a second ahead of everyone else. He had a commanding start right from the rip. He got those tires lit up. Those tires are up to temp right away, and
taking a ride on the outside with Lewis Connolly here. Now everyone got off without a hitch, but it was the next few laps that really began to cause those problems. As we take it back to your live feed, gap is steadied between the top two drivers. Uribe is firmly in control of second, but I'll tell you this much, Jeffrey Lawler is on cruise control in terms of his goal of getting to the end.
Looking at Massey on Hinchcliffe here. He gets that huge slipstream down. Oh, both of them into turn one. I thought Massey definitely had it there, but he does have that second DRS zone. Close the wing for a little bit of a second. Sometimes the wing closes, though, when you do apply those brakes, so that might have been why he closed his flap and opened it back up on the straight, but missed out on the overtake right there.
Phillip Allen watching again. He'll take a spot on the inside. Back to the live feed, 20 laps in, and at most for these drivers, 10 to 15 laps until they head to pit road.
And Massey is all over the back of Alec Hinchcliffe here. And dives down the inside and takes it into the chicane, but Hinchcliffe does have the big DRS zone coming up, as you do see Massey slide around the exit there. And again, this third sector is super slippery, especially at this stage of the race. those tires have got to be, hurting at this point. So a little bit of tire management is going to go a long way. Hinchcliffe just goes a little bit too early on the throttle there, causes his rear to spin out. And it looks like Hinchcliffe is 0.8 back, maybe 0.6 actually now. As we do get on the straight, Hinchcliffe is going to have the benefit of DRS, and Massey is punching a hole for him through there with the slipstream. So you do see Hinchcliffe with that massive pace advantage here. He's probably in attack mode as well. So he is going to get that extra bit of deployment, but it's not close enough.
Now, you talk about a little tire saving going a long way. I gotta wonder, with your experience in this series as a driver and being part of it, how do you maximize tire saving in the driver's position right now?
Yeah, I'd say the most effective way is definitely just lifting, coasting, just saving those tires from the heavy braking zones, especially into turn one. As you do see Samuel Justin Ray going down. Oh, that driver is going a little bit wide here. I think that's Eugenio, but Ray just has to stay right behind. But again, just braking into those heavy braking zones are going to make your tires shoot up in temp and just degrade over time. But short shifting out of those corners as well to reduce that wheel spin is going to go a long way. So especially in that third sector, you're taking that at about like third gear. So if you're coming out of the corner and try to light it up in third gear, you're just going to spin every time. So you kind of have to upshift, or you just have to modulate the throttle. So that's what I'm expecting these drivers to be doing. They're probably doing that right now. So it'd be interesting to see an onboard, especially of Lawler, to see if he upshifts or if he's just modulating that throttle. But those little steps do go such a long way, especially in here. Also, just relying on your braking and trail braking into these corners, trying not to use up a lot of steering angle is going to save your tires in the long run.
Close to halfway here. 25 laps in out of 50, the 50-50 marker. Everyone's on mediums or hards, one driver pulling out of softs.
And you got to wonder what that strategy is. Oh, and that is Massey in the gravel. And it looks like he has some wheel damage too. Yeah, that wheel is off the axle. Let's see if we can get a replay of that. Oh, and there's contact between Massey and was that Ethan Turner, I believe. Yeah.
Just a horrible squeeze there.
Yeah, it looks like, Turner just tried to take the racing line. I don't think he was expecting the dive coming up from that far. Usually you're braking at around that point, but super unfortunate incident for them, but I don't think he can limp that back to the pit, so that's definitely going to be a tow. Oh, and that is big damage.
Split second call, and that's the type of thing you can't avoid in that situation.
Yeah, Turner just got a little bit, out of place coming out of that corner there, so I doubt he was able to see, Massey coming up the inside. It wouldn't have set in the spotter either, so I think that's more or less an incident, but yeah, super unfortunate incident there.
Tenth place to swap around. We got one to pit road. Benjamin Massey just off that incident.
And Massey was doing really well too. So I think Massey started last year. And yeah, we're looking at Lawler now. So out of these corners, it does look like he's taking a little bit easier on the throttle, especially coming out of those hairpins here. And I don't think he's short shifting. It definitely helps some drivers, helps me. But Lawler just has maximum control over this car. He knows this car like the back of his hand. So, just absolutely great control here. You see every motion that he's doing with the steering wheel. He's not using any extra steering angle into those corners. So Lawler knows what he's doing, and he's stretching those tires to their absolute maximum potential.
Head into pit road. Keaton Jensen's going to get by another one, and this is the beginning of a long 10-lap pit cycle as drivers are going to go from 25 to 35. A lot of drivers chose the mediums. They're probably going to be in earlier than that, but the hard compound guys have the choice to go until the end of about lap 40 if they save proper. Mark, with that being said, fuel saving, how important is that for the drivers that have been running so far?
Yeah, I don't think fuel saving is going to be a huge issue. I figure Lawler probably underfueled his car for a bit, so I think he'll definitely be looking at some fuel saving in his stints. But with these open setups, I think most drivers probably overfueled it just a little bit so they wouldn't have to worry about it and just go straight on attack mode. But as you do see Kreutz leaving the pits here, those hard tires are a little bit cooler, and he is a little bit squirrely on this lap, so it usually takes about 2 laps for those things to warm up. Probably going to miss a few apexes, but Kreutz is doing a great job warming these up, taking these corners. He just has to take it easy in this third sector here, make sure that those hards do have enough temp to provide him the grip into this, elevated section of the track.
Lawler with a 21-second lead. Closest battle on the racetrack. Oh, we got trouble just behind. Wondering who that was. That was Turner. That was Ethan Turner with another spin.
Oh, and he's definitely going to the pits after that one. But, looks like he just lost it out of the last corner. But luckily, okay, maybe that was a little bit more close. I definitely thought he didn't hit the wall there. That one might have been a tap. Should be fine. But, yeah, just takes a little spin out of the last corner there. And again, if you are cutting and adding that extra steering angle as these tires do lose a little bit of grip, applying the throttle there is just going to spin your car around. But luckily for him, he didn't have a lot of damage or any damage at all.
Ethan Turner's gotten away from one too many. I think he would tell you that much himself. Problems have been abundant for this team, but not the biggest problems. Well, we'll see what happens from here on out as he is rapidly approaching his own pit stop. One driver on pit road right now. Gomez 1 lap down. Looks like Gomez switched off the soft compound and it looks to be back on it, Mark. Is there any development you're seeing here?
Yeah, it looks like he has them on, and I think, in your iRacing box, you do have the option to switch between the compounds, and I think after he pit, it might have defaulted back to the softs based off his setup, but I think that might have been a mistake on his part. I think he'll likely be coming in for another set of mediums after. If I were to imagine, those softs might only last about 10-15 laps before he has to switch over for the end of the race.
"26 laps so far, led by Jeffrey Lawler." I mean, he's been perfect
there
today.
Into the hairpin. Yeah, no, definitely. He's honestly just a master class. Tire saving, everything. You see it with the consistency in his laps. About 10 laps ago, I was saying he was hitting 117 zeros. He's still hitting 117 ones on these mediums. Those things are 27 laps old. They should be giving out at any point in time, but he is probably stretching it to the last little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if he put it to about 37 to 38 laps. Lawler does like to stretch these tires as long as possible, and it looks like he is probably able to do it with the track temp falling as well. We're now at 29 degrees Celsius.
Tenth of a second difference over 27 laps. I mean, he knows something about this medium compound. These drivers just don't. Temperatures have dropped. Wind has stayed about the same. The only thing that's raised against the driver's favor, so to speak, humidity. Humidity is up just a few percentage points. Not all too much, but it is a slight gain. With track temp dropping, Mark, I don't think it's going to prove to be any problem as we slowly but surely head toward 20 laps to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just looking at Harry Krautz's time. So Harry did pit for the hards at about lap 25, and he is putting some phenomenal pace in. His last lap was a 117.4, but as the drivers start to switch over a little later into the race and, putting on those soft tires, we should see those times dropping into the low 117s, maybe even the 116s for a lot of these drivers. So it's going to be interesting to see how Kreutz gets that track position. And he is very good wheel-to-wheel, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few defensive battles from him as well.
Taking a ride on board 6th place Kreutz. Driver telemetry will show you exactly what he's doing and when he is doing it. And the big thing is light on the brake. This is heading out of your final sector and making it down the long straightaway at the front of the circuit out of Panasonic. Here's a look at Eugenio Villarreal, one of the drivers who has just gone off the lead lap. Only 6 on the lead lap, only 5 within a minute of leader Lawler. A pit stop is still due to come for many of these drivers. Here's a look at Phillip Allen as he gets passed by a driver on DRS.
This is a great effort from Eugenio Villarreal too. I mean, he dropped down to last position during a opening stint accident there, so he's now back up to 9th position. So this is going to be really good for him if he can make this pace last. It doesn't look like that pace is dropping off too much. He's currently lapping at a 1:18.2. Those hards should be able to go for quite some time, especially with the track temp the way it is. And as these cars get lighter as well, those times might actually go up toward the end of the race.
At this point, all but 6 drivers 1 lap down, 10 drivers within 1 lap, and 2 retirees only, as we've gotten into firmly pit stop territory. Every driver going to have to come down and in. Pit stops expected over the next 5 to 10 laps at the most, where medium compounds and hard compounds will be swapped out for the fastest soft compound. Most drivers choosing to start with the medium or hard compound just to get it out of the way. A mandatory compound swap makes this pit stop all the more important. Do it correctly and get on the soft compound fast, and it'll be beneficial for race pace and beneficial in terms of track position. Quick pit stop is everything for this field, and they know it. 30 out of 50 next time by makes it only 20 laps remaining.
And Lawler's got a huge advantage here. He's 25 seconds off of P2 right now, so he has effectively a free pit stop. He can pit whatever he wants, and he doesn't have to lose track position. But Grothies and Keller are going to be looking more towards Valenzuela to see when he's going to pit, because as soon as that happens, they may want to think about an undercut, but I don't think it's going to be in their best interest. I think an overcut might be a little bit more beneficial here, especially as those, this is a high-speed track. There is not too much degradation based on that, just due to the track temp, but, those softs will fall off very quick, especially as those lighter loads come through in the cars.
Gaps remain wide open. Contact again. I believe that's Keaton Jensen. And Jensen with trouble. Jensen on the hard compound just lost it there. This is the second incident he's been in. We saw him early with trouble, but he just drifts out of it. Back to the live feed, and Mark, an update on Ethan Turner here.
Yeah, it looks like Ethan Turner has a black flag, so it looks like he may have had one too many incidents, maybe a few track cuts. We did see that he did get into a few incidents before with other drivers. I think it was around 2, maybe 3, so that would have cost him at least 12 incident points if we are looking at 3, but some of those off tracks, you do get penalties starting at 17, so he's going to have to come in for a stop and go penalty. Or a drive-through, actually. As we see him pass Keaton Jensen there, as he serves his penalty down pit lane. So that is going to put Willie Atkinson ever closer to him. He's only 5 seconds off now, so he is going to be looking for a fight right out of here as Atkinson just goes through to take that position.
Returning to the circuit 1 lap down, Ethan Turner continues his struggles. Here's a look at Harry Kreutz, and as it stands, 10 seconds further back on his next closest driver. Hinchcliffe has been running a solid night, and I mean, when we talk about the top 5 in points, Alec Hinchcliffe, one of the drivers who certainly needs a great performance today, while Jeffrey Lawler has run away with the lead of the title fight. Oh, Turner again. This is the live feed. He'll slip out of line once more, heading through Dunlop.
Does well to avoid those bollards, and those things in here are actually cement, so you're not going to want to drive over those.
Ethan Turner, bad luck over the last few laps as another spin costs him big time.
We see Jasper, I think, come into the pits, so Marcus Keller is in third place right now. He still has to pit, though, so Jasper might get the benefit of the overcut on Keller, but when Hinchcliffe comes into the pit, he does have to make it past Harry Kreutz, who is going to be probably about 10 seconds ahead of him, and Kreutz is still putting in very consistent times, a little slower that time. He had a 1:18.5, but he was consistently lapping in the 1:17s. So it should be pretty interesting to see how this race pans out over the last few stages. Jasper pits for Sauce. Wow, okay, that's I wasn't expecting that, but you know, we are pretty close to the cutoff here. I think he should be okay. You know, considering the track temp the way it is, he has quite a bit of clean air in front of him, so he does have to put the work in though to catch back up to Kreutz, then Hinchcliffe, and then keep the position from Keller as well.
Going to be a long run, a little bit longer than maybe we predicted, but he should be fine to do it. On fuel, it's just going to be all about managing the tire over the course of this next 17 laps when he crosses the start-finish line. The first to go to softs, it appears. Eugenio following him. I am surprised, though. Nobody else, even in the back marking of the field, has decided to make that move in. I mean, maybe Keaton Jensen, but otherwise, it's been largely drivers staying out and trying to stick it toward the 50s, or rather, toward the early 40s in approach of the lap 50 mark. Now, only 50 laps. We've passed more than half of that already. Time is ticking as Alec Hinchcliffe decides to make it in.
Yeah, he definitely saw that Jasper swapped over to those softs and decided to make the same call. Now, this is a little bit closer, so he's going to have about 16 laps to make on these softs, but Jasper doesn't have that much traffic in front of him. We need to see what Alec is going to come out to, and we do see Eugenio making the move there on Phillip Allen. Phillip Allen still hangs on, though, around the outside, and Eugenio just has to... Oh, no, he takes the outside. I wasn't expecting that, but, you know, I shouldn't have expected anything less from Eugenio there.
Watching aboard with Phillip Allen one more time. And here's a look. As conflict has continued all throughout the circuit today, but it's one of the nicer examples of racing between lappers and leaders. And we continue on without any complication. Nice to see, especially late in the going. You don't want to see anyone else's races ruined.
No, and Phillip Allen and Eugenio Villarreal have been very respectful drivers on the field. You know, they like to, you know, give everyone their space, so they have really good awareness and racecraft. Good to see that they were able to, you know, settle that cleanly as possible. This has been a very clean race, I should say, though. Even with a track like Fuji, super high speed, a lot of high speed sweeping corners, so, you know, out of everything, you know, we've only seen about 2-3 incidents involving other drivers, so that's great to see.
Now all but one of your top 5 on soft rubber. Lawler's made the switch, is still comfortably in the lead by a half minute. He could go for a perfect race at this rate. And it is Harry, the only holdout in the hard compound.
And you know, I'm looking at Harry's times, and Jasper swapped to the softs maybe 2-3 laps ago, and his lap times aren't that much quicker than Harry on the hards, so Jasper's currently lapping at about a 1:17, 1:11, and Harry's lapping at about a 1:17.3. So those softs don't seem to be making the difference that Jasper thought that they could probably make. Curious to see what Keller and Hinchcliffe do with those softs as well.
Perhaps maybe needing a few laps to warm them up a little bit, but those soft compounds, they're fast until they're not, with still 15 or so laps remaining after crossing the line for lap 36. You don't want to burn them out too early, and at this rate, a lot of drivers are very comfortable in terms of their track position, so I wouldn't be particularly surprised if we see more drivers waiting it out and biding time rather than rushing onto the softs if they haven't gotten there yet, or if they even decide to go to the softs at all. Here's Benjamin Massey. He's still rolling strong. He is in 15th. Not his best of nights, 9 laps down. He'll try to salvage what little he can. Battle for second.
I'm on board with Harry Kreutz.
within 3 seconds. And Mark, you lead the way here.
Yeah, just looking at Harry Kreutz's times, he's still a little quicker than Jasper on those softs, so I'm wondering if Jasper had some damage picked up. He was making his way through the field, had a few back markers, but, those hards are currently lapping around 5/10 quicker than Jasper at the current moment on the softs. Hinchcliffe's lapping at about the same as Kreutz in third place, so, very curious to see how those softs are kind of handling the tire, especially with this load here, as we do see Kreutz almost about 3 seconds from P2 here, so it should be pretty interesting to see at the closing stages.
Now that's the closest fight on the lead lap. I believe it's the closest fight across the entire track. Lawler is 31 seconds up on the race lead. He really hasn't been in consideration all day here. And here's some closer quarter action. Having to make it around the Latin machine. That's Ethan Turner being passed. And a pretty easy move for Harry in the 16 as he gets by. Into the Dunlop chicane. Lappers are now way more common than lead lap drivers. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it looks like Pablo's making really good use of those softs, currently lapping at about a 1:16.5, so he is a second quicker than Harry at this stage, but there are still 13 laps remaining, so it is quite a long way. I expect those softs to start dropping off in the next couple laps. I think those hards are still going to be in a pretty good position by that point, so that gap should start to close up too.
Ethan Turner getting
past Samuel Ray.
Yeah, it looked to be a nice and easy pass there, Mark. Here's a look back.
Well, it looks like he just got offline out of 100R there, which allowed Turner to get right up in there and just take that position.
Ethan Turner, close but no contact, and for him, that's all the benefit he needs. Coming toward a dozen laps remaining and coverage of the Apex Hunter Motorsports Grand Prix at Fuji. And if you've enjoyed the coverage you've seen tonight, this is the first of many broadcasts we have to close out the month of July and move us into August. The Indy Euro Series, 3 races coming up over the next 3 weeks. July 22nd at Portimao, the 29th of July in Mugello, and Indy Euro Series returns to, Charlotte, August 5th. It's a trip across the pond for them, but for some of the regulars in the IndyCar scene, there's some familiar races as well. BOR Race Day is a doubleheader with the Indy Next Series kicking it off, and the IndyCar Series right after, just 3 hours behind, in a back-to-back feature. That's August 1st, and the International IndyCar League will go to Daytona just the day after. That's August 2nd. It's going to be a lot of coverage of open-wheel action to end the month of July here in Velocity Online Racing. So if you've liked what you've seen so far, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe for more high-quality open-wheel broadcasting. Once again, thank you to our friends at TrackCams22.com for their continued support.
And next up on the AHM schedule, we have Hockenheim coming up next week in Nürburgring GP layout, and finally ending the season at Red Bull Ring. With only 3 races left after this one, there are going to be some major changes to our top 5. It looks like Willie Atkinson, down in 7th position right now, is going to be surpassed by Jasper Grothies by the end of this race, who picks up quite a few points in 4th. Now, Villarreal as well is going to probably remain in 5th, so it is going to be a battle for 4th position basically after this race. So we do have, as it stands, Jasper Grothies is going to be in 3rd if he remains in position, followed by Willie Atkinson, then Eugenio Bayer Villarreal. So it should be some pretty interesting action for those last few races. It looks like we have a black flag for Samuel Ray, who had too many incident points, maybe quite a few off tracks. Not sure if he had any incidents with other drivers, but he does have to go through pit lane and serve a drive-through penalty.
It looks like he is right now. I
don't think he's going to lose position. Yeah, I don't think he's going to lose position, though, because he is a lap up on Jensen, so he should be fine to stay where he is currently in P11.
Ray's lucky that's not a full disqualification because it won't cost him much more besides some track position. And with the laps whittling down and distance being expanded, well, it doesn't mean much one way or another.
Yeah, and Lawler's extended his gap to 35 seconds to P2, so he has a commanding lead of this race, and it's been that way ever since the race start. You know, we saw him with the 1 or 2 second gap right off the rip, and he's just done an excellent job with the tire management. Played his position perfectly in terms of pit stops as well. He had a free pit stop, no contest to P2 behind him, so just shows how much he understands this car and, you know, just his overall mastery of the car in general.
Gotta move. That's Ethan Turner, and he'll make the pass. A late one on Phillip Allen. He'll get back into the single digits. It's been a tumultuous night for him, but a well-deserved and well-awaited pass.
It looks like those softs are starting to come down just a little bit. We do see the people on the softs starting to get into that 117 lap time now. You know, Pablo Uribe in second position. He just crossed a 117.0. So those softs are starting to grade a bit, but I don't think there is any sort of, you know, danger to Kross behind him. Kross is lapping around the same, but those hards are still hanging on quite well, so there's not too much of a lap differential now, but he does have a 7 second actually gap to third position. Oh, and that's Turner going for a spin.
And he's driving backwards. He is fully pulling it backwards to get it back in shape. Phillip Allen with the pass again. So all that work to get the spot is for naught, I guess.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like a smart idea to get into the pits right now. Those softs should recover after maybe a lap or two, but he does have 9 laps to go, so I do expect to see another move closing in on Phillip Allen a little bit further into this race.
Closest gap is again Ethan Turner and Phillip Allen. It's a 5 second distance, and I don't know how Ethan Turner would even get back up there. I'm sure his tires are scuffed a lot higher degree than anyone else around him.
He is dropping that gap pretty massively. He's now at 3.6 seconds, so he is probably using a lot of his battery just to gain the time up. Probably going to go battery saving, you know, when they get to the straight, and he does get a little bit of a slipstream, but I expect to see maybe in the next 1 or 2 laps that he is going to catch back up to Phillip Allen.
Has that soft compound, and as you mentioned, could be putting full power in, but hopefully not more to slip up from Turner, who's been up and down in terms of pace, and it really has been a lot of his own mistakes as his undoing so far tonight. 8 laps to go. The home stretch is now just ahead of us.
And he has crossed that 1 second gap, but he does not get DRS on this lap because he was 1.3 crossing that threshold. But, you know, he is going to catch and very fast here. So we do see them cross the line. We see Phillip Allen with a 121 across the line and Ethan Turner with a 117. So there is a massive pace differential between those softs and those hards.
.39 seconds for Lawler versus the field. And Ethan Turner's there. I was entirely wrong. He puts 4 seconds down in a lap, and Phillip Allen is once again being hunted. And I'm sure he knows it. I don't know if he can do anything about it. To his outside.
Yeah, the grip difference is just insane around the outside. You never see that move really in these Formula cars or any GT3 cars, honestly, either. They usually just wait till the straight, but, you know, Turner wasn't wasting any time. He knew he had the grip to hang around the outside. Even with that spin, those tires are still doing just fine.
Turner pulling a full second up. Now hopefully he can keep it clean and maintain position of the checkered.
On board with Jeffrey Lawler, and he is still banging out those laps with those softs. Last lap was a 1:15.8, just, miles ahead of the other drivers here in terms of, tire saving. The fact that he can still put in these laps, sub 116 laps, is just incredible.
1:15.888. I mean, when you look down that tally of drivers, nobody is even close to the bracket of time he's putting together.
On board with Phillip Allen, and he's still sticking behind Turner. He might actually get back into DRS range here. He seems like he's taking care of those tires just a little bit better. And Ethan Turner actually was at a 1:19 last lap. So as we get down this straight, he does have the DRS, but I think 6/10 is a little bit too far back. Maybe he'll prove me wrong, though. Maybe he'll dive down the inside. Hopefully we'll see some exciting action. And he does close in and fast, and he's going for a move down the inside here. And it looks like he makes a stick, but that second DRS zone, and Turner comes back at him as well.
Toe-to-toe, Phillip Allen may be slower, but he's been more calm and more consistent, but not even close. Ethan Turner jets away again.
Yeah, that was insane. I mean, I wouldn't have personally taken the racing line there that close. Very, very aggressive move, but, he got it done. And, Allen just blinked there, so he had to just back off just a little bit. He'll have another chance at him, before the end of this race. There's still 6 laps to go. I feel like Allen can still catch up to the back of him. 1.7 seconds behind. We'll see where this goes. As he goes off track goes Turner. Not sure if that's going to be a slowdown or whether it's going to be a black flag, actually, for Turner for another too many incident points. So he might have to go and serve his drive-through penalty right now.
That's going to put an end to the fight he's been having.
Yeah, that puts him right back in. But, we said before when he was about 5 seconds down that, it might take like 1 or 2 laps. There's still 5 laps to go, so I think he might be able to catch back up still, but it'll be interesting to see. The gap has widened between every driver. Lawler is now at 41 seconds, leading to P2. Harry Kreutz, 8.5 seconds from P2. Jasper Grothies, 9.9 seconds from P3.
Five laps remain. Only 5 on the lead lap. I mean, above all else, while we haven't focused on him too much, Jeffrey Lawler has thrown down a heater of a race, and nobody has been even close to his pace. 46 laps led today. He is due for a perfect flag-to-flag victory.
That's a great result for Uribe as well. Started in 6th, currently in 2nd. We've seen him in the past few races have a few ups and downs here. I didn't personally race alongside him, but he's shown some great pace here. And honestly, just consistency is key in terms of his race. His battle with Jasper was great. And, he just kept that momentum going and, did the pit stop strategy at the right time. And, he was able to take it from, starting at a midfield position to up on the podium.
Harry Kreutz looking to finish the podium.
Yeah, I don't expect anything less from Harry Kreutz. Harry's just, he's a great qualifier. And, Yeah, he has very good consistency. I was a little skeptical on his, pit stop strategy in the beginning. I thought he'd be going for the medium soft as everyone else has, but he's done work on those hards, still lapping in the 117s too. He's done a great job at keeping those tires alive.
Three laps to go. Unfinished business maybe for Jasper Van Grothes there, but he's too far out. He's 10 seconds behind, and I don't think he's got the pace to pull it up. Marcus Keller is the first driver, one lap down, and is right behind leader Lawler there, both in all white Mercedes machines. He just hasn't been able to get himself back on the lead lap, even though he was pushed right off it.
Getting a little bit out of form there goes Marcus Keller. Again, those tires are going to be like screaming in pain at this current point, and just pushing it through the last few quarters of this lap. Drivers got to be careful not to bid it on this last little section here.
Make that now 4 on the lead lap. Keller, the last driver with even a chance to get back up there. And it looks like it's about bringing it home now with 2 laps remaining. Next time around for Jeffrey Lawler, he will see the white flag, and he will commence the final procession as we move to the checkered.
He's driven a great race too. Like every corner, I haven't seen him miss an apex yet, so this is just absolute precision from him. Don't expect anything less from him either. He's been commanding from start to finish in this race and every race this season. Unfortunate with his mechanical failure before and his incident points in the last ones that kind of robbed him of his victories. But there goes is that Harry Kreutz? It was
Harry. From 4th place, he'll drop and he'll have Jasper in 3rd. A pass for the podium.
And yeah, just this one corner is just catching everyone off guard. So got to be really careful around. Is that nets? I'm pretty sure that's nets, but yeah, it's just that off camber, especially this late into the race, is just going to catch quite a few people.
Horrible mistake to make in the final lap. It's a 4-second battle for the 3rd position, but the white flag is waving. And already the final lap is ahead of us. Leading man all ahead. Keep your eyes peeled. Lawler is set to win it so long as he makes these next final corners count. Jeffrey Lawler is looking for the checkered. He's already halfway through the lap. He's heading toward one final time, the last sector, beginning with the Dunlop chicane. This is it. 45 seconds ahead of the next closest driver in a 50-lap race. He gained nearly a second every lap. He's already the locked-up champion this season, and to this point, he has only missed 2 victories. Now, 12 races in, with almost no room for error, he's looking to make it double digits on the win column as he comes around the final Panasonic bend. Checkered flag number 10. Make it double digits for Jeffrey Lawler. He will win in Fuji and takes the checkered flag in the Japanese Grand Prix. 10 wins this season. Remarkable for the soon-to-be champ.
The celebratory burnouts, or donuts, I should say, crossing the line really puts you into this perspective of what he's seeing in his mind there.
Second goes Pablo Valenzuela. Jasper Van Grothes goes 3rd. Pablo with a great run to take that 2nd place, and Jasper takes advantage of some final mistakes.
Yeah, honestly, that's heartbreak for Harry Kreutz. He was doing such a spectacular job in 3rd, but good job for Jasper, keeping it clean, keeping those tires alive, and just keeping consistent to take that 3rd place. So huge congratulations to him and Pablo as well. Drove a fantastic race. That speed was, blinding, just consistently in the 116s. Made really good use of those softs. So congratulations to all the podium finishers. Yeah, this was a very tough race for, a lot of drivers. It is a tough track, but everyone did such a good job.
Checkered flag falls here from Fuji International Speedway, and it's a race day that's come to a close. A 50-lap Grand Prix has gone flag to flag, and it's about time now. We're going to get ourselves ready for post-race coverage. Here, first and foremost, are your race results. Jeffrey Lawler, the winning driver, gets the job done over Pablo Valenzuela Uribe in a dominant performance. Lawler leads every lap. Jasper Van Geraltes goes third with Harry Krantz in fourth, Marcus Keller fifth, Alec Hinchcliffe sixth, Willie Atkinson seventh, Eugenio Villarreal in eighth, and Philip Allen ninth. Ethan Turner wraps up the top 10, Mark.
Yeah, in 11th, we have Samuel Justin Ray. 12th, Connor Jensen. 13th, Keaton Jensen. I think they're brothers. Not sure. I'll find out later. 14th, we have Benjamin Massey. 15th, Willis Gomez. 16th, Lewis Connolly. And 17th, with a do not start, was Leon Flukiger. You know, I was really looking forward to see Leon on the grid, so I'll have to see what happened to him after as well.
Jeffrey Lawler, the winning driver, first and foremost, and it appears he's available for comment, as is the rest of the podium. So we'll bring him in, and I'll start with our race winner, Lawler. He got the job done in fantastic fashion. Jeffrey, 10 wins on the season. You already have a championship wrapped up, and now the double digits you've achieved in victories. It was a dominant flag-to-flag performance here in Fuji. How's it like winning yet again?
The race was actually pretty fun. I mean, it kind of was in no man's land. But I haven't driven this track much, never driven it in this car. And for me, I wasn't happy with how inconsistent I was. I felt like I was just doing like random laps and going wide. But you know, I managed to not crash. And then I had the bright idea on the last lap to try and full push on attack mode, and then I almost crashed. But we got it to the line, and yeah, it's nice to drive this track. Cool.
And can you talk a little bit about tire management? I mean, like late into the soft stint, you were still hitting 115s, low 115s. So, you know, curious to see what your tire strategy was like. Were you comfortable on the mediums for a super long stint, or were they starting to degrade after a while?
I mean, going into it, I just kind of figured that it was kind of like, it's kind of a low speed track, especially like sector 2 and 3. So I didn't think, especially with the 10th, that mediums would be an issue, but they got down to 52% after 33 laps, which is not good. And I could feel it as well. So, I mean, as far as like managing, I mean, I just basically just did a normal amount at any other track, but the rears were definitely becoming an issue the more laps you go on. The softs are fine though. I mean, the fuel drops off. As long as you don't overfuel, the softs feel pretty good. But I think that was the right strat as far as I could tell. I don't know how the hards were looking, but the softs were definitely good.
Hards were looking pretty consistent around the 117s from Krantz's time, but this was the first time we had an open setup race too. Now, can you kind of talk about whether you created a setup for this race, or did you use a fixed setup? What was that kind of like?
It wasn't a fixed set, and it was not Alex set either. But it did feel, it was definitely on the edge of rotation. Like for instance, I think it's turn 4 and 5, I could take flat. So it had a lot of, good rotation, but it was a little bit difficult towards the end of the medium stint and like the low speed stuff, just trying to keep the rear in check. I think it's like turn 7, that left-hander was, I think, the biggest issue I was having. But yeah, I was curious. I wasn't sure like what people's straight line speeds were as well. So I don't even know which direction I went compared to everyone else as far as like more corner speed or straight line speed, but it felt good. It was unfortunate that Leon, he had a family emergency, so there was no basis there I could have as far as comparison either, but it felt good.
Well, you were blindingly fast, so you could have fooled me, man. Every corner looked super quick, and you looked super quick on the straights too, so congrats on the 10th win. Very well deserved, dominating performance, and just all around masterclass.
Thank you very much.
Jeffrey Lawler, number 8 machine, winning yet again, and as we said, double-digit victories. Jeffrey, do you have any final shout-outs? The floor is yours.
I just want to give a shout out to you guys for broadcasting. You guys seem like you know what you're doing, and it looks very enjoyable. And then just shout out to Alec and the staff team here for putting on a great league.
Jeffrey Lawler, 10 victories clinched today at Fuji. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Lawler makes his move out. Next up is a driver who started in the 6th position and had to work his way up. Now, I'll tell you this much. Is he available? That's the question. Pablo Valenzuela finished in the 2nd spot, and we'll see if we can get a word from him. But it appears that for now, he's out of the voice chat. So we'll move on to your 3rd place man. Jasper Van Grothes taking the final position in the podium, capitalizing on late mistakes and making his way up to the 3rd position. Driver number 69 with us in the broadcast booth. Jasper got up to 3rd there. It was a difficult fight, but you made it work.
Yeah, man. Like you said, capitalize on other people's mistakes. They go.
Now, Jasper, I warned them at the beginning that you are a monster on race starts, and you did not disappoint in this one. So we saw you launch from, P4 all the way to P2. You held P2 for a while, and honestly, my heart broke a little bit when I saw you spin. So can you kind of walk us through the opening stages of the race with, Pablo behind you? Pablo and you had pretty consistent pace along, the whole race. So what was that kind of like?
Yeah, he was closing up on me. And then when he overtook me, I got a little jump scare from the car that was exiting the pit, and I got put out of rhythm for a little second there, and I don't know, I applied the brakes in the wrong way and I spun, which is a shame because it cost me 2 positions.
And how'd the car feel overall? This was the first time that you used open setups. Did you create your own, or did you use Alex or fixed one?
I created my own.
Yep.
And it felt pretty good actually. Like the people that were using Alex setup were complaining on sector 3, like being difficult, and I didn't really have any problems at all.
And, in terms of, tire strats, so we saw quite a few people going, medium hard, or starting on the hards going mediums. How did your tires feel toward the end of the race? I mean, I know sector 3 is a little bit of a tricky one, especially, having the elevation changes and potentially losing some downforce into those corners. So did you feel that you had grip toward the end of it? And were you thinking of like an undercut or like an overcut to get, back to P3, or can you talk about that a bit?
Yeah. My mediums were 50% when I pitted in lap 31, which is fine. They also felt fine. I just didn't know. I just didn't know what tire Harry went on. Like, surely he must have gone on the hard, but I didn't know the
Yeah,
pace.
Harry was on hards. Yeah.
So I thought maybe there's a chance I'm gonna catch up to him, but I needed him to make a mistake, and he did.
Yeah, that was pretty heartbreaking to see for Harry, but honestly, glad to see you on the podium. And, undercut or overcut on this track, what do you think is more, beneficial?
I think that's really dependent on what tire you're going onto.
Fair enough.
I don't know. I don't think it makes too much of a difference, to be honest.
You just drive the car and you drive it fast.
Yeah, but like the tire wear is not that high, So
definitely for.
Therefore, probably overcut.
Awesome, man. Well, you did a great job. Glad to see you on the podium.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
David, shoutouts or.
Yeah, 3rd place on the day for Jasper. He'll get it through at the bottom step of the podium. If you have anyone else you would like to shout out in the audience, it's all yours.
Shout out to Alec for making it happen every week.
There we have it. Jasper Van Grothes taking 3rd place here in Japan. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And just like that, we've gotten a word from your 3rd place finisher, Jasper Van Grothes, and your winner, Jeffrey Lawler. It appears Pablo Uribe not available for comment. What a race we had ourselves. Action from flag to flag, Mark. So before we wrap up, any final comments you got?
Yeah, honestly, like, great job with the broadcast, guys. This is my first time seeing your broadcast, and honestly, it's super professional, super pro, well put together. Thank you for having me. First time doing actually a live broadcast, so it was honestly great to see how this works. And honestly, great job to all the drivers. This is not an easy track, and every driver was super competitive from P1 to P10. There was like a 1 second gap between them, so that's super awesome to see. And hoping to see how the rest of the season goes. Jeffrey, great performance. Congrats to the other two on the podium, and can't wait to see how this season finishes. Once again, thank you guys for having me as your co-commentator, and looking forward to see what you put out.
3 more races after this point. The Hockenheimring up next on the schedule. But until then, and until next Sunday, you've watched coverage here on the Velocity Online Racing Network of round 12 of the Apex Hunter Motorsport campaign, Season 3, taking a trip to Japan. Thank you for tuning in this week. Next race will be the 26th of July, again in Hockenheim. But if you want more coverage of Velocity Online Racing, make sure to subscribe. Velocity Online Racing delivers professional iRacing broadcasts, providing an authentic race day experience. Contact velocityonlineracing@gmail.com to learn more. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I've been David Kreutz, leading the commentary with our league expert Mark Samad and broadcast director Julien Altena behind the board from beginning to end. A special thank you to TrackCams22.com for their complete camera packages of road, oval, and dirt machines and onboard cameras led by our broadcast director Julien Altena. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Congratulations to our dominant winning man, Jeffrey Lawler, on his 10th of the season. We'll see you back on Velocity Online Racing for our next broadcast. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you have a fantastic night.